Good morning everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Belinda here from Visualised DNZ. Recently in my Facebook group, Visual Vibes, you can find a link down in the description box to that if you have not visited there before. I recently ran a poll asking what people would like to see within the group, and one of the things that came back strongly out of the few people who voted was challenges. And it was evenly split between monthly or weekly challenges. So I've put my thinking cap on and I'm going to run with a weekly challenge and see how it goes. So if it's popular, if it seems to be working, then I'll keep that up. If it's not, then I'll perhaps go to a monthly challenge. So it's a bit of let's play around and see what's going to suit people. It's entirely optional. It's not something you have to do. You can dip in and out as you prefer. But I'd love it if you decided to play along. So I'm anticipating that there'll be a video each week dedicated to the challenge, whereby I give you the prompts for the challenge and then I go ahead and make according to those prompts so that you can get a bit of a feel for what you might like to do. Okay, so I've got 3 stacks of cards here that different suits. So like there's diamonds, spades and clubs. I'm calling this the Deal It Up challenge. Deal it up, because I'm using playing cards. And it's going to consist of 3 prompts. So there'll be a style or colour as one set of cards. The other set of cards, or the middle set of, well, I don't actually know which way around these go, but the second set of cards will be the material that you use, a material or tool, and the third one will be what it is that you're making. And it will be something, I hope, that will translate between whether you're a journaler or a journal maker, that you'll be able to participate in this either way. Okay, so our first lot of cards are our colour or style. So I'm just going to give them a bit of a shuffle here, so you can see that it's completely random. I'd really like to do these as live drawings, so that my watchers can choose a card. But I've got to get it out there before we can sort of work out what sort of time frame might work. So I have no idea now what order these are in, so I'm just going to pick one at random. Oh, vintage. So vintage is going to be our style or colour one for this week. So the second lot, I'm not sure which ones these are, so I'm just going to shuffle them. And I'll have to put rubber bands around these so they don't get all mixed up. Otherwise we might end up with 2 styles and no item to make, or something ridiculous. Now these aren't an exhaustive selection of what we could do. I've got 13 cards for each suit, apart from one of them where I took the ace out because it's super cool and I want to use it for a different purpose. So one of these piles has got 12 and I can't even remember which pile it is. So let's see what this brings. So again, completely random. I don't know which one, what order they're in. So let's choose one from this end of the deck. Okay, die cuts or punch. So punch is like punched shape. So if you don't have a die cutting machine, you don't need one. You can use purchased die cuts, or you can use a punch, a craft punch, to make a shape. So this is the materials or tools pile. So our last one must be the item that you're going to make. Okay, so give them a shuffle again. Oops, oops, oops. Have to keep shuffling now that I did an oops. And I'm not shuffling them like fantastically, because I don't want to end up with a big mess all over the place if it goes wrong. Because I can shuffle better than that. But let's go for the middle this time, middle-ish. And we are making a belly band. Okay, so that is the 3 things for the challenge this week. So we're making a belly band in a vintage style and incorporating die cuts or punched shapes within it. Okay, so I'm going to pop you on pause. I'm going to collect up what I need because I didn't know what we were going to be doing, so I couldn't prepare what I needed to have to make the item. So I'll pop you on pause, grab what I need, and I'll be right back and make something. Okay, that didn't take me too long to get organised. So for vintage, I have this pack of cardstock, 200 GSM. It's called Vintage, so I thought that might provide me a useful source to go for. I've also got book pages. There's vintage book pages in here, so I thought, layer up with a couple of vintage items, real and fake. And for die cuts or punch, I've got my circle punches here with me, but I also just fossickered around, and I've got a variety of die cuts that were sent to me in Happy Mail. So there's some little die cut frames here, some die cut ephemera, there's some Tim Holtz people, some various bits and pieces in there, and then these frames that came from I don't know where. I didn't buy them. They were obviously given to me by somebody, but I don't remember who. And same with these. These were sent in Happy Mail, and these were randomly from somewhere else. I don't know. I can't remember. I've had them for a while. So they're going to be my die cuts. I do have a die cutting machine, but just to save me time preparing, I just grabbed what was to hand. So just to remind you, we're working with die cuts or punch shapes. We're going to make a belly band in a vintage style. Okay, so there are our three things. So I'm going to start off by choosing out a bit of this cardstock. Sorry about the noise of the cellophane. I'm just going to take them all out so we can get rid of that noise. This is really nice, but I'll flick through. Oh, that's pretty. And just see what we might like to use. So obviously I've used a bit of this first one before because there's only, or maybe not, there only seems to be one sheet of it. That one's not really speaking to me, not for this. That's quite cool too. Oh, there's some fussy cats. I didn't realise there were fussy cats here. That's pretty cool. That's fun. I might keep that out because we might use that for some decoration. Oh, that's nice. Cracked paint. Look. A vintage map. That's nice too. Ah, there we go. There's that other one at the back there. Now, what do we want to work with? I'm kind of torn between these two. Let's go with this coloured one because I think that's really pretty. Very, very pretty. And then if I use book page, using book page on top of text is probably not kind of super fun. So let's go with this one. Now I just want to make my height. So I'm going to grab out a blank journal page. Yep, and just going to make it the height of that. So how wide would I like this to be? I make them random. I don't care about it being a set width or anything. I just want enough that I've got some surface area to decorate up, and wide enough to hold in whatever I tuck behind it. So just going to choose about there, which is 6 centimeters. It's quite thick, so a couple of slices with my knife. So I've gone for 6 centimeters, which is about 2 3/4 inches. So that's my base. Now I definitely want some book page on there. So I've got, what have I got in here? put some vintage sheet music. Maybe a piece of that. So I'm going to tear this. Just random. Don't mind how crazily ripped it is. I think that's all the better. I'm not so fussed on this blank bit up the top, but maybe we can cover that with something. So it doesn't quite fit from top to bottom, but I may need to trim off some of the base anyway, depending what page I want to put it on. Because if I put it on a printable where I've got to trim off the border, then the page is going to be slightly shorter. So I don't mind that it doesn't go all the way. We're working vintage, so I am going to put my vintage photo around it. And if you don't have distress ink or anything, you can use a brown stamp pad. If you've got a brown stamp pad, you could run around it with some tea or coffee to give the same effect. Yeah, there's different ways you can do it. You don't need to have expensive things to be able to do this type of thing. You can use what you've got. You can improvise. You could even use like a felt pen or something to give it an edge. You can actually make your own spray inks from felt pens as well, or markers you might want to call them. So you can buy the cheap markers and then take the inside out and soak it in some water or some alcohol if you want alcohol ink, and yeah, make your own sprays. The only thing I would say is if you're using cheap ones, then the pigment isn't so great, so you might need to use 2 in the one little bottle. And don't go too heavy with the water. You can always add more water, but you can't take it out. So I forgot to grab out a new glue stick. I am down to the plastic on this one. Can we get enough out of it to get this stuck down? Darn it, I was on my list of things to grab out in my preparation and completely forgot. Hopefully that's enough to do the job. Okay. So I'm just going to center it ish, and I'm just going to put it down to the bottom so that if I need to trim it, I can just trim one end instead of 2 ends. I think that probably makes a bit of sense. There we go. Liking that so far. Pretty simple, pretty quick and easy. Oh, please excuse me. Right, now, quite like these frames actually. This one's been inked with something. Not sure about whether I'll use one or not. I'm just going to try some things out and see what I like. So there's some little cute envelopes in here too. I believe they're like a post-it note. Oops, that one's hooked up. That one. I won't be using that word anyway, so we'll leave them in there. There's some Christmas ones. I don't want the word. These little Tim Holtz people are quite cute, aren't they? But like the rest of his body's sticking out, so that wouldn't make much sense, would it? But by himself, maybe standing on a frame. Maybe we could do something like that. Oh, that's rather cute. Now he looks like he's got his hand on something. Like a ball or something. Maybe something like that. Or we could go flower. butterfly. I'm just playing, people. Sorry, I've gone quiet. I'm just sort of fiddling around. It's like thinking how I might like it. I actually really like the boy. And I did not try the girl. Isn't she cute? And her little tutu and her ballet shoes. But I think I like the boy. I really do. Save you something for something else, little girl. I don't want the Christmas ones. So it's almost time to be using those though, isn't it? So do we want the smaller frame? Or the bigger frame? I think the bigger frame, and I think I'd like a word in there or something. I'm not sure what. So I'm not sure if this is the right thing either to put in his hand or under his hand. It's kind of not quite the right vibe. But what else could I use? Have I got a sticker that might work? I know I've got some stickers of like beach balls, but they're a bit bright, I think, for a vintage theme. So I'm just pulled out my stickers. And sorry, there's lots of cellophane noise here. Having a dig through. I haven't got them in any sort of order at the moment, so it's all a bit random. There's a wee flower here. Would that kind of look a bit silly in his hand? Yeah, I think that looks silly. Oops, where'd I put? There's the packet. What can I put in there? Please yell at me. What, some ideas? Let's pull out the beach balls and see, just in case. And these were sent to me recently. Yeah, I think, oh, maybe an orange one. Or, yeah, one of those orange ones might work. So I'm glad I did have a look. Okay, so we're not going with the flower or the butterfly, so put those aside, or the oval, or the green one, or the small one. So narrowing it down. Now, do I want, oh, if I do want a word, it would need to really go in underneath, I think. Let's see what we've got. Unless it's small enough to go inside. So let's try this. All right. Could do it on an angle. That's kind of cute. Okay. Right, I'm going to give it some ink and I'm going to commit to it. So I'm going to ink all around just in case I misplace and bits show that I thought weren't going to. Then it just saves me a bit of fretting. Right, let's try our best to get glue out of this glue stick. There we go. Now this is card, so I am going to use my tacky glue to stick that down. Oops. Once I get rid of the bit of dry glue off the end. Oh, before I do that, I want to distress it, don't I? I bet you were telling me. Don't forget to distress it. Once it's down, I can't Right, and I'm just going to try and do the inside as best as I can as well. Right, now I can glue. Oops, got a little bit of glue spillage. Okay. Right, now for you little boy who's also cardstock, so I'm with the tacky glue on him. And I'm not going to distress him, I'm just going to leave him as is, obviously, because I just glued him down. But I hadn't planned on distressing him, I just wanted him to look perfectly dapper as is. There we go. And let's try one of these orange balls. I think the orange will still work with the vintage look, and I'm just going to run it over top of the glue stick just to make sure it stays. And I actually don't need to put it right in his hand. I could like have it down a bit like he's bouncing the ball. Right, so it gives it a bit of action. Right, now I've still got this gap up the top. So I am thinking maybe a number. Sorry, I'm just grabbing out my number containers because another thing I didn't prepare ahead of time. Let's see if we can find a number that will look nice. Not sure what sort of size number I want. No, that's too wide. He's definitely not 89. Could be 4 though. I like that. Let's go with that one. And that's just a bit of coffee dyed paper that's been torn. So nice and vintagey. Vintage look. So just give it a little edge. And he can be number 4. Right, I might just see if I run this over this way to get the glue on it. Here we go. There we go. Nice. There we go. Simple little belly band in a vintage style using die cuts. So a couple of different die cuts used there. And that will go on a page like so. And then we'll have a journaling card. So this little packet of die cuts will work. Journal card will just tuck in behind, or this one probably fit that way even, on a page. Super fun. So just very simple. You could make it more elaborate. You could make it a double belly band with another little belly band on the front that you can tuck something into. You could make an openable one with writing paper in the middle. Be creative. That's what challenges are about. They're just about being creative. So you've got some base elements to work with. So I'll go over that again. Grab out the cards. So vintage, belly band, using die cuts or punch shapes. And that's it. there's your challenge for this week. If you participate in this challenge, I would love to see what you make, because that's part of the fun of it, is sharing what we've all done with the same prompts. Pop into Visual Vibes, into the Facebook group, and I'll have a post that you can add it to. So look for the post that says Deal It Up Challenge and the week dates. Or I might number them. I might just call it 1. So like this will be Deal It Up Challenge 1. Might be easier. And post your image in there. I'd love to see what you do. Come along, join the conversation, join the fun. And until next time, be creative, stay well, and have a great day. Bye for now.